Hi, Christine. It's so nice to see you here in Cannes.
Thank you for having me.
So good to have you. I am Yeimy Garcia Smith, and I lead measurement at Circana, and I am joined by
Christine Turner, and I work at Google, and I lead our global product solutions for measurement, data, and audiences.
And we're here in La Croisette, and it's a beautiful, sunny day. Well, we're going to talk about measurement, my favorite topic. Are you passionate?
My favorite topic, too. What a great place to talk about this.
Yes. Well, one of the first questions that I'd love to ask you is, as you think about the measurement priorities that both Google and your clients have, are you seeing some big shifts or some different things that are happening this year that you're focused on?
Well, I think there's definitely a heightened sense of questions around things like agentic experiences and how quickly will measurement evolve to really address some of these marketer questions. But I would say, on the last, and I know you've been in measurement a long time, as have I, for the last, 5 to 10 years, I think it's been actually a pretty constant journey moving towards more causal measurement across certain categories that have always been really smart, like CPG, using media mix models, et cetera. But we're now starting to see that not just grow into more categories, but also more globally. We're seeing a lot of investment around causal measures and, interestingly, into not just the top of the market, but marketers in the mid-market as well are just getting really smart about it. So we continue to invest in our causal solutions. And I think what the other evolution of that, of course, is when customers are using many different solutions, is how do you actually unify them? How do you make sure that they're not telling you different stories? How do you actually use the right measures at the right time to make good decisions? And I think that picture continues to evolve as well.
Love it. In unification, triangulation
Yes.
has been such a hot topic when it comes to measurement best practices. So let's talk a little bit about Meridian. I think Meridian is having close to maybe a second birthday.
We're having a second birthday, but it's also continuing to drive incredible momentum. And then, of course, we have great partnerships around Meridian as well, and really seeing marketers lean into having our partners really help them stand up a good model and ultimately help them really learn how to use it.
And why did Google launch Meridian? Why was it so important for you to launch an open source MMM?
Yeah, look, I think over time, we saw that there was definitely a space, particularly in things like YouTube and search, where the market wasn't necessarily problem solving the things that we cared a lot about, right? So how do you think about the appropriate ways of measuring search, which can be a lower reach product, but has this incredibly important market opportunity for an advertiser? And so starting to evolve with research first, we started to understand the things that needed to be true for MMMs to really measure and value search well. And then we started to explore things like reach and frequency. And really where we came from was we wanted to have an open conversation about the best practices. And a lot of our research started to unpack some of the things, at least with our media, where we really understood ways that could inform models that were just going to be more helpful to marketers and more actionable to marketers. And so as we were doing a lot of that research, we saw the opportunity to open source this and frankly just start a conversation in the industry around a starting point are channels, but then ultimately things that are really powerful, like calibrating models with experiments, which, of course, because we have a lot of experiments and obviously partner with Circana and others on running a lot of experiments, we saw how useful that could be for marketers as well.
We've done a lot of great research together on search and impressions share lost due to budget, also in integrating the Google query volumes into our models. And then last, you talked about calibration, and calibration, such an important topic. Yeah. We've run thousands of experiments together on YouTube. How important do you think is to use that level of information from those experiments in your models?
I mean, I think it's critical for marketers. And look, I think experiments are not just about informing the model. They are also really helpful in identifying unique levers that marketers should be thinking about and testing into things that you might not want to invest in so much that would be, powerful enough for your media mix model to really pick up on. And so one of the things that, in our partnership with experimentation, that we've been able to see is marketers over the course of years really improve not just the ROI that they're getting from YouTube or search through experimentation, but also scale. So it's important that we're not just driving more efficiency, but we're actually driving more growth for marketers. And so that experimentation, one, can become a really leading set of insights, but then again, can be incredibly useful in calibration as well.
Of that. And when you think about your third-party partners like Circana, why do you think it's so important for Google to partner with us when it comes to both Meridian and beyond?
Well, one, I'll start by saying we really believe in a very important third-party measurement ecosystem, an independent ecosystem. In part, I think it makes the conversation richer and frankly allows us to do more research and development and things that we would never think of. And we think partners are really important for that. But probably the most important things is we know marketers want it. We know that they really value the independence that our measurement partners bring to the table. And you have those incredible relationships as well. And we hear from marketers all the time how important that is to them. And so, I always tell people internally, we will go so much farther, faster with our joint customers when we have third-party validation. It just really helps us build a story that is trustworthy.
Yeah, that's great. And we have, at Circana, we have measurement experts, measurement consultants that are together with our clients on a daily basis. And it's really great to take that, 20 plus years of measurement consulting experience and utilize the best practices that Google is bringing to the table with open source code like Meridian and putting that into play in our conversations on both Meridian models as well as beyond our own Circana models. So what about Circana just generally as a partner? What are other things that you think we should do together? What types of opportunities should we explore?
Well, look, I think we're entering a very new world, particularly with agentic experiences. And I think one of the things I've always loved about our partnership is the willing to explore in it. Sometimes fail, but be maybe leading ahead of the market in the types of things that we want to learn. I know marketers want to understand these agentic experiences that consumers are having and how their brand fits into that. And then, of course, it's a very powerful moment for ads as well. And as we continue to scale up those parts of our business, I think that's going to be an area that we continue to partner. And look, yes, Meridian's coming up on its second birthday, but it's still just, an infant, a toddler. How do we actually think about building on top of that and all the success we have to help bring what is a very privacy safe, which is a very dynamic measurement methodology that we just are seeing more and more marketers choose, even marketers that are not your traditional large enterprise brands. And so how powerful that could be to continue to scale that.
Yeah, that's great. And Circana, like Google, believes in that accessibility of MMMs in our industry through both self-serve types of solutions as well as very heavy consulting type solutions. And so,
but we have to get it right? We have to get it right for marketers. And so there's a lot to learn as we scale this.
That's great. And what is something that you want our partners and our clients, our mutual clients, to know about our partnership and what that means to them?
Look, I think one of the things I love about the partnership is you all have incredible trusted relationships with these brands, as do we. We come at the problems sometimes from different angles, but I love that there's always a sense of problem solving and curiosity in our partnership. And I think that helps us evolve together.
I love that. I mean, and with Circana having close to 100,000 benchmarks on the MMM space. There's globally, there's so much that we can learn together.
Yeah, look, I think global's a very big piece of our future too, and really kind of expanding particularly causal measurement to more parts of the globe. It has for a long time been very America-centric and parts of EMEA, but we just see this continuing to grow so much around the world.
Continuous learning agendas, continuous measurements. That's the name of the game. I'm so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you for having
Christine.
me.